something that seems to work. Alright, this is a test video. My pillow behind me. I put this here cloth behind me because the walls are kind of the same color as I am right now, which is crazy because I'm here in Florida, but I've been doing so much other things that I have faded. So that's on my plan of action, is getting back to the gym and getting out in the sun. But I finally got a lot of my IT stuff together, and I've been working really hard on that for the past few weeks. I went through my emails, like over 200,000 emails in my boxes, because I've hardly paid any attention to email since I left Tennessee in 2017. What has come to draw me to doing this video today is to talk about the Holy Spirit, with the Holy Spirit, and what I did not realize till recent days is the Holy Spirit has wanted me to do this for a long time, but I wasn't getting it. You know, you talk about where a box of rocks. Yeah, well, this one didn't get the full picture. That being said, I've done my channel on again, off again, and I didn't realize that was something I had decided I was going to do before I knew, in my own awareness, that was something that I was intending to do in this life experience. And I think what was been holding me back there is a certain shyness that I've had within me that has been working itself out. And it's not something that I've been forcing. It's just been slowly working itself out. It's like the natural Kundalini awakening is it works itself out in a natural way. And what I had no idea of is that there is a false Kundalini that is related to the false light. And that when the Kundalini opens too soon, you can fall into pray as in PREY, to things that you may not understand and perceive from a fearful place, because the inner work hasn't been done yet. The work has not been done yet. And it's taken me so many years to come to this realization. And that's because I've been doing the work. And I initially knew the work as collecting your orphan selves. And that was through the Theogroup. I had a friend come to me and say, so and so and so and so are coming to Unity Church and blah, 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 blah. And so I started looking this stuff up because I was like, I wasn't seeking to go to any kind of convention or seeking out a mentor or anything like that. I was just living life, running my pain center. I did listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks material. I was like living it, breathing it, but I was still finding lots of challenges. I felt like I was being targeted and attacked from all directions. And it was after I had kicked Pfizer out of my clinic, and I didn't know about all these other external factors, nor had I paid any attention because my spiritual self and the self of me that became indoctrinated in medicine, where it was like I lived in two worlds. I lived in my inner world, which was my guidance system, but I was living in the other side of the fence. And I knew I was a bridge between both, but I didn't know how that bridge was going to work out. Well, now I'm learning how to swim, and so the bridge is not as needed. And some of this I'm coming to realize as I'm speaking. The Holy Spirit is always right here in my chest now, and I came to know the Holy Spirit um, in my aware self in early 2020. When everyone was going into fear, I was not in fear. And that has a lot to do with what I used to do as a primary care provider, and I also came to work with people in pain. I had my own pain center for a number of years. Um, the state kept making changes to make it harder and harder for nurses to practice in the field. At one point, I had a few doctors working for me, and it wasn't that I had power over them. I was paying them to work in the clinic in order for my um, clinic to stay open. And that was because of all the government changes that were taking place that required me to have that in the center, um, which made it near impossible financially to continue running. And one of the doctors I worked with, I mean, it was $5,000 a month just for this person to come in for, part of the day, the check charts, and sign them off. And I was very blessed, though, because the person that I had, I had already, um, this person, I'm not going to mention their name because I don't have permission to use their name. But this person and I had had a number of conversations that were extensive. And when he agreed to come to the center and like told me his fee, yeah, it was a steep fee. And maybe I could have found somebody for less, but I knew that his clients had a 3-month waiting list just to see him. And the fact that he came with another background in rheumatology, for me, I felt was a bonus because he understood pain from another avenue that I had not been trained in. And he was also very awakened within himself, and he cared. He had he cared about the clients like I cared about the clients, and that is why I think we made such a really good team. And I had no idea this was all going to come full circle back to this while I was speaking, because this recording was really supposed to just be a practice run, but it feels like I should probably just put it up and it be the best I can do with going live right now until I can find my voice. Talking on camera is not easy for me, so as I'm releasing more of the shy part of me that I didn't realize I still have, because when I'm one-on-one with people or a small group, my shyness drops away. But talking on a camera is different because there's not a person in front of me, there's me in front of me. And it's interesting. I keep looking every direction but at myself. And so it's giving me the giggles. It's like, you have, I don't know if anybody's had a dream where you're dreaming and it's you, um, reflecting back to you. And there's been a number of times where I've literally seen myself, but as someone else. And, and I would be explaining to me what I was experiencing from that angle of me, if that makes any sense. Some people call that the turncoat. So if you identify with the term turncoat in the sense of you can see your turncoat even when you're not asleep, or having a visionary state. And that turncoat part of yourself is the place where we have all gotten off track because we don't remember what that is that we once knew. And it has a lot to do with how we see our objective reality too. Because if we hold a lot of fear and we come in contact with someone who holds a similar amount of fear, we can actually tap into the demon aspect of them and see a demon. Instead of seeing their angel, we see their demon. Because our inner self has so much fear that it is in its own state of demonology. And so we see the demon of the other person in reflection to ourselves, and then we freak out. So we think we're seeing demons, but we're not. It's this aspect of ourselves that we have created within ourselves that brings us an objective reality we cannot explain. In simple terms is yes, demons exist, but no, they do not. I knew this was going to happen. I get myself all twisted in trying to bring, because I experience this from an experiential viewpoint. So using the English language, which has been twisted and demonized, it's difficult and challenging to explain it from a living language so that as many as possible can understand when I'm speaking. A lot of times when I write things, people do not understand what I'm writing. And that's because I receive it in a sort of light language. And I can write something in simple terms that is an entire book put into 3 sentences because I'm not breaking it down in that way. Everyone carries a book right here inside of them. And so what's easier to do is to show you what it's like to hold the Holy Spirit. And this is what happens. When you're holding the Holy Spirit, you get tearful very easily. And it's not the tears of despair or sadness. It is the tear of this place of joy that you hold in each moment of each day. It's just there. And if you sit and you feel into it it will literally bring you to tears. And but I mean, I guess that's what I wanted to convey, is that the Holy Spirit isn't something that you must go to church to get. Can you get it there? Yes. Um, but you don't have to. It will come about naturally. Can it be sped up? Yes, it can be sped up. Um, the work, when I say the work for me is the inner work. It's the inner work that I came to know in my awake state as the O work. The O work. The group that I started with was actually, Abraham Hicks kind of was what helped me bring me to the Theo work. And the Theo work is more about connecting with your orphanage self, which I worked with them all of 2015, 2016, 2017, and all of 2018. And then I left for about a year, and it didn't have anything to do because my spirit was calling me to my own sovereignty. So I'm like, if I keep going to groups, even though I felt them as family, a spiritual family, um, even though I had been working with them for a long time, it wasn't that I thought it was wrong to stay with them, but it was, I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet. And I wanted to know this as through me, for me, and not having to get it through another person. Sheila Gillette is um, the vessel through which the O comes through. And through their group, it is known as the 12 Archangels. So that's what I came to work with for a long time. And I had no idea where it was going to end up. But what's ironic is that I met them at the Unity Church in Nashville, Tennessee, which was 10 minutes from where I lived. And if it takes a lot, it took a lot for me to even consider walking into a church from that moment that I learned about them. But to know that they were the ones that helped Esther Hicks do the work she was doing, and I knew it had something to do with the work I was going to be doing, and I had been meditating for years, and I felt like I wasn't on my path still. And I so much wanted to be like Esther, but I also wanted to take it to the next level. And what I realize now that is what I've done. I've taken it to the next level where I'm sovereign. I am able to do both things. I understand the workings of Abraham, and I understand the workings of Theo in a different way than both of those groups do. It's like having the best of the best, but I don't have to be available to attend sessions because my sessions are all here every single day, and at this point it doesn't turn off, which can be a blessing and a curse. I am getting more to the place where I feel like I can swim more, and I'm swimming within my own energy field in a place that is not polarized. Which I'll talk more about all these other things in another video. I think this one is long enough. I intend to make them short. That's the way I like to read, and I like to listen to other people's videos because we learn from each other directly and indirectly. And that is part of how the Holy Spirit works, is because we are all intended to be teachers in some way. We are teachers to each other, even if we're not aware of it. So with that said, I'm going to stop this video here. Let's see if I can turn it off from this microphone like I did before. Let's see.